Remember when Biden says they're going to put y'all back in chains? And I spoke on that. And I even made videos in the past about black people going back into captivity again. But you know what? It's gotten to become much deeper than that, because they really don't care. The Democrats really don't care about not only black people, but white people as a whole. I referenced videos in the past about torching and burning America, and that's what is happening, or that's what was happening. That's what this whole impeachment, hate Trump ordeal, the media attacking Trump is all about. We've also talked about how the Democrats are the authors of slavery. They're the ones that enslave black people. They're the ones that lynch black people, the KKK, all of this white supremacists. And from that point on, they've been working overtime to keep black people under their feet, because black people are their mules. Black people are the voting mules. Black people are the ones that keep them in power. Black people are loyal to them. So they have to keep black people on the Democrat plantation. Now, I completely understand black people don't like when I talk like this. And then you're going to have these blacks that's going to say there's really no difference between the Republicans and the Democrats and yada, yada, yada. Right? But it appears that the Democrats, not only are they showing their true color now, and they're showing that they really don't care anything about Americans as a whole. Their whole ordeal is to torch and burn America. They are being paid and have been paid, aka Hunter Biden. That's why this dude was able to get that much money without any type of experience, because his father kind of put him on to that, right? So they receive payment from other countries, from other governments, because they were selling Americans back into captivity. Not just black people, but Americans as a whole, because they started attacking white people. Now, they really don't have to worry about black people, because they already have black people where they want them to be. So they started attacking white people. They started by putting it out there that the white man is bad, he's racist. Now, these are white people that's saying that white people are racist. You know, that in itself is scary right there. White people saying that white people are racist. That is scary. That's unheard of, man. It's like the media, the white media that have been destroying black people forever, is now saying that white people, and these are white people that's saying this, the white man is toxic and evil. These are white people that's saying that, right? So, and not only that, they're stripping white men of their firearms. They're releasing criminals into the streets. They're letting illegal immigrants into this country and giving them driver's licenses, feeding them, giving them insurance, things that they have been denying taxpayers forever. And now they're giving it to illegal immigrants, criminals, because they know that once these criminals are released, then people are going to start crying out for help. We need help. They're breaking into our house, and they have no means to defend themselves at all, right? So you have to realize that your birth certificate, the average so-called American, your birth certificate is a debt. So your debt was being sold to China. Your debt was being sold. It's just like when you have a credit card or a loan, and you have this financial company that will sell your debt. So it's like you can be on time on your debt, but your debt was there for so long, they say, okay, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to sell it to another company. So you got another company that would buy the debt off, right? So now you have another owner, right? Well, that's what's happening, or what's happening to America. See, and because of the fact that Trump came in and he's for the people and he destroyed that, now they are attacking him. They are attacking him big time, right? So that's what all this thing is about. And what the average American don't realize is that they're selling you into slavery. What the Democrats forgot about is the fact that if you look back in history, they must not have really thought about this, because if you look back in history, a lot of the slave catchers, after the Africans contributed to catching Africans into captivity, they too went into captivity. So you have a lot of Democrat politicians that may think because they're paid millions of dollars and billions of dollars, and they have now the financial means to, like, after they sell Americans out, then they can just go ahead and skip off to another country and do what they want to do. But what they don't realize is they too would also go back, because your money is in these banks. And they have the power to lock down your money, right? They have the power to lock down your funds. So if you sell America to foreign leaders, to, like, say China, for example, because everybody's talking about China. So you sell America's debts, the people, Americans, to China. If you sell American debt to China, China now owns everything, so they can lock down everything, right? So that little money that you have in the account, they can freeze that unless you have offshore accounts, and that too can be touched. But I think that every politician that think that they're free because they're wealthy, because if you look at Maxine Waters and all these other politicians, they haven't done anything. The Democrats haven't done anything for their district. They haven't done anything that the people who voted them to do. Their whole time was spent on attacking Trump. Their whole time is spent on Twitter. They're on Twitter 24/7, right? Attacking Trump. So they're doing nothing for the people that voted them. And then you got the people, the ignorant Democrats, that's fighting for the people that's enslaving them. Because you think they made you feel or think that Trump is your enemy. So now you're attacking the person that's trying to actually save you, in a sense. Trump is trying to set the captives free. And then you got the Democrats that's constantly, the more money this country makes, the more money the Democrats waste. They waste in these bogus lawsuits and impeachments and all this other. Taxpayers are paying for this. Your tax dollars are paying for them to play and to hate. So they're upset, and I know I'm skipping around, but they're upset because of the fact that Trump interrupted their game. Trump interfered with their business deal of selling you into slavery, because you look at Africa, you look at other countries, man, how China was just able to go in and take over. They took over, they gave them money, and then they took over their ports, Africa, they got Chinese police set up, this is in Africa, where you had African leaders, man, that just sold off Africa, took a loan from China, knowing that they couldn't pay it back. And then after they reneged on the loan, China was like, well, hey, we own these ports now, So China moved in. So China is moving into these countries, man. They're paying these leaders off, man. And China is gaining ground. Trump came in and interrupted that, right? And the Democrats don't like that. And some Republicans don't like that. That's why they hate Trump. And they don't realize that when they sell Americans off into slavery, you have a select few, not every politician, but you have a select few that's also going to go into captivity as well. They think they're free. But even among the host of Republicans or the Democrats that's down with this, that's down with selling Americans into captivity, there's a certain group within that group that's loyal to each other. There's a handful of them, right? And YouTube might remove this video. There's a handful of politicians that's working together, even against those politicians that's making money and that appear to be down with them, but they're really not down with them, right? So you have a certain group, a handful of politicians that's on the top that make the bottom feeder politicians, Maxine Waters, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, just to name a few, Elizabeth Warren, making them think that you guys are doing something because now you're actually fighting for their cause. But at the end of the day, you're really not in. You think you're in, but you're not. See, you're really not in. So this is all about selling America and enslaving Americans, right? So now they're like shifting all of these illegal immigrants in. We're going to set this up where you pay us a certain amount of money, right? We get rich, and then we bring more people in here. Each person got a birth certificate. That birth certificate represents a debt. They have a social security number. So we're going to give you all of this China for a certain amount of monies. Make us wealthy. As long as we and our children are taken care of, that's all we care about and concerned about. Look at California. And look where Maxine Waters lived, but yet she's got y'all living on the street, California. And then y'all are going to turn around and vote for the same Democrats that put you in that condition. Because they conditioned you to hate Trump. They conditioned you to make you believe that Trump is your enemy. Right? So this is all a game. And it goes back to that video I made, Torching and Burning America. And I said even then that you are going back into captivity. It may not be physical chains. It may be. But see, you got to realize too, and I'm in this video, you got to realize too, America has never really been attacked on this soil. There's never really been a war on this soil. Okay, I'm not talking about the Civil War and all that good stuff. I'm not talking about that. This country was never invaded by another country, because not only do we have the military, but just about every citizen here owns a gun, right? So what the military don't take care of, a civilian is going to take care of. So everybody here is armed. So when you got other countries, man, when you got China, of all people, when you got China, man, giving input on Americans being armed and giving suggestions on how to disarm Americans, there's something to that. Why does China want Americans armed? Why do Russia or any other country want Americans armed? Civilians, why? You would think that they want Americans to destroy themselves because Americans are supposed to be the enemy, right? And I don't trust a lot of these countries that they call, those allies. I don't trust them, man, because these so-called allies are proving not to be allies. Like Canada, they're proving not to be allies. There's certain lines you don't cross. You stay in your lane, right? And you have a lot of these so-called allies that's crossing the line, man. So A lot's that's going on here. People don't realize it, and the Bible predicts about Babylon the Great is going to fall. Babylon is going to fall, and these other nations are going to rejoice because that great whore Babylon has fallen. Babylon the Great has fallen, right? And that's what these nations are waiting for. They're waiting for Babylon to fall, and it's being destroyed from the inside because we allowed these demon crap politicians and the media to divide us as a nation. And I'm going to say before I end this video, because I'm all over the place, and I understand that, right? I'm going to say before I end this video, too, I appreciate, and I might take a hitting for this, but I appreciate the white supremacists here in America. I appreciate them, right? And I'm going to tell you why, right? Before y'all get your panties in a bunch, listen to what I got to say. I appreciate the white supremacists, man, here in America, because with all of this gun control madness, and they're trying to disarm American citizens, not just the white man, but they're trying to disarm American citizens, legal gun owners. And you have the bulk of America just sitting back, allowing the government or the politicians to do anything they want to do. Nobody is fighting for their freedoms. Look at how many times black people protested in the street. Black Lives Matter, police shooting them, gunning them down, and nothing was done about it. But you got sodomites, man, that's able to protest, get mad, and they got everything now. They're being protected, a protected class. Sodomites and illegal immigrants. And Americans are just sitting back, accepting it. You know, you just gobbling it right up. They're giving it to you, you taking it. Right? But I appreciate the white supremacists and these little white nationalist group that they have out there, man, because they're like gathering in Virginia because you had a demon crap that got in Virginia and immediately started disarming them. And now you have these white supremacists, and they're now down there. They're going to protest, and I think it's supposed to be today or tomorrow. They're supposed to go down there, but they're going down there, and they like, look, Virginia was, I think they put Virginia like on a state of emergency. They put Virginia on lockdown, man, because them white folks went out there, and they're afraid that them white supremacist group are going out there with their firearms, and they think something bad is going to happen. Because you got these white folks now standing up saying, you are not taking my guns. You're going to have to pry my gun from my cold, dead hands. And you have a lot of white dudes that mean that. Especially when these white dudes, man, was stocking up on ammo. They're always on the range blowing up stuff. They're quiet. Don't underestimate these white dudes, man. I'm telling you. Don't. You know, they sit back, they calm, they self-controlled. But at the same time, you think you're going to take these white folks? I'd be extremely surprised if they allow a handful of politicians. This is a big country here. There's a lot of people here in this nation, right? And for all of the people, the millions of people that's in America, and they're going to allow a handful of politicians to just strip you of all of your rights, just completely take away the Constitution. Just a handful. Think about that. It's only a handful of politicians. It's not a whole people. It's not even a state of politicians. But you got a handful of politicians that, and they say the pen is mightier than the sword, will take an ink pen and say, this is what the law is now. So now, you know, there's a gun ban. And then you just submit to that. Okay, because the law said so. Without a fight. So you allow them to come in and just take away your rights, man. The freedom of speech. You can't talk. Now you can't talk. You can't defend yourself and your family, right? You can't have your own opinion, right? You have to accept the gay agenda. Anything that they tell you, you have to accept. You now become their boy. And because they write it down on a piece of paper, you say, okay, I'm going to submit to the law because I don't want to break the law. I don't want to go to jail. And in my mind, I've always been thinking like, yo, where are the white dudes that I knew of growing up that originally, allegedly made this country great, that fought? Where are those brave soldiers, those brave white dudes, man, of the past? So when I see these white nationalist groups and these white supremacists, gathering like in Virginia to protest their gun rights, they want their gun rights. I applaud that, man. I appreciate them dudes, man, because if it wasn't for them dudes, man, with their guns, everybody else, they just let them take it away. They just strip you of your rights, man, because nobody's resisting, man. Nobody's resisting. Nobody's fighting back. Nobody's fighting for their rights, man. Nobody's resisting. And that's the scary thing about it. Nobody's resisting. People will talk about it. They get on social media and talk about it, but nobody's resisting. And that's scary. That's really scary that nobody's resisting and they're stripping you of your rights. I mean, just human rights. Forget about the Constitution, because that's rights that man gave you. But your God-given right, they're stripping you of your God-given right to be a human, to protect yourself and family, and nobody's fighting against that. Nobody's resisting. But yet you resist when the demon craps tell you to resist against Trump. And you do it. That's scary. So I appreciate those white supremacists, man, and those white nationalist group, man. Y'all keep doing what you're doing, man. I appreciate y'all. Because when they get out there and they protest and instill fear in them politicians, that's trying to take away their gun rights, they're also fighting for my gun rights. Because now that's helping me to continue being armed. And them not stripping me of my gun rights. So, feedback, tell me what you think, subscribe. But this country is being sold off into slavery. It's being sold off, man. Your birth certificate, remember, your birth certificate is a debt. And your debt is being sold off to other countries. Trump interrupted that. That's why they're angry at Trump. So feedback, tell me what you think. Till next time. I'm fearless.